everyone, and welcome to the Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Asi Efros, and our special guest today is Ken Natori, a president of the famous Natori Company. Hi, Ken. So nice to have you with us today.
Asi, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So, the company is celebrating its 48th anniversary this year. That's an amazing accomplishment, and you are
Thank you.
experts in family run business. So, can you share with our viewers some of the milestone and key moments in your company's history?
Absolutely. And thank you so much. We are very proud to be celebrating our 48th year, still complete, independent family business. As many of you know, Josie Natori is the founder. She's also my mother and remains very heavily involved. She is a CEO and Chief Creative Officer. And we really, since I joined the business in 2007, when I was 31, we've really been running the business together for the last 18 years. And, we've seen a lot of private fashion companies either, go away or have to sell to, and we've been very proud to be able to stay independent and hope to continue to do so. So in terms of key milestones, yeah, as I mentioned, I joined the business in 2007. At that time, we were almost exclusively high-end wholesale. I think one of the biggest milestones is really launching Natori.com as is an e-commerce website in 2008. We knew it would be important. We didn't quite know how important it would be, especially as we went into COVID. So that was a big moment for us then, and really has been completely vital in terms of who we are today. I'd say the other thing, really was the year of 2020. We were still at that point predominantly wholesale, and obviously COVID, when all the stores shut down, was the biggest existential threat to our company. The team came together incredibly. We moved to a new office in 2020 in December, and through COVID, everybody worked through everything, and that was a tremendous accomplishment as well. So really, as we sit here in 2000, as we kick off 2025, we remain independent, but we are a much different company than we were in 2019 and 2020. We've been able to stay true to who we are, but also pivot and be flexible. And it's really been all because of the commitment we have and really, the wonderful team and employees we have as well.
Wonderful. So you're running a multi-million-dollar company together with your mother, legendary Josie Natori. And by the way, I realized that Mrs. Natori comes from the finance background, and she was a first female vice president of corporate finance at Merrill Lynch, which is amazing. So how do you divide the responsibilities between you two?
Fortunately, we are quite different in terms of, our interest and skill sets. And that's really helped in a number of ways. One is I think we complement each other a lot, which is helpful both from a strategic point of view, but also in terms of our employees. They know who they need to kind of go to for what and who's more able to support the company, depending on what the issue is. And then also for us, working alongside your mother or your child is not necessarily natural for a lot of people. So the ability for us to kind of split the business in a certain way is probably better for us as well for maintaining both our work relationship and our family relationship as well. So, we're both involved in everything to a certain degree, but really, her interest is incredible interest and touch on product. That is what she loves doing the most. And then really, spends a lot more time on the wholesale part of the business than I do. Whereas I launched our website, Natori.com. So I'm very involved in everything digital and, everything dealing with the company, dealing with our people and teams and everything on that front. So obviously, there is a lot of overlap. We both have the businesses, interests in our minds. So there are things that we do together. But for a lot of what we do, we're able to separate it, which gives both of us kind of the space that we need. And I think it is really helpful in terms of running the business together as well.
Absolutely. So what do you consider your greatest accomplishment to date?
I'd say a number of things. One is the ability, as I mentioned, to remain private and really compete with much larger companies than us and to do so effectively. I say specifically with regards to Natori.com, we've got a very nimble team. We don't have a huge budget, but we have been able to compete successfully, not just with the Nordstrom.coms and Saks.coms of the world, but even with like the Amazon.coms, who, all these people have like, amazingly huge teams. We work together with all these partners. We want them to do well as well because, they're wholesale partners and their success is our success. That said, for Natori.com to survive, we, in some degrees, need to win on certain things. And we've been able to do that by being, very nimble and being very strategic as well. And then, as I mentioned, other accomplishments really was just getting through the retransformation of the company before and then coming out of COVID. We were still heading into COVID. Vast majority of our business was wholesale, and to be able to pivot not just from a strategic, but also from sort of a company culture perspective to emerge where those two arms were more equal, had to work more in partnership and together, and it was the same people doing different things to support the growth of the second business. All of that has been a testament to, once again, I feel our employees and our ability to be nimble and really react to what's been an incredibly challenging and ever-changing environment.
Absolutely. COVID was very trying time, but also a catalyst for change
Yes,
for many
yeah, and
customers.
I'll say to that front, we have yes earlier what I spend time on compared to compared to my mother and how we split the business. Oftentimes at founder-led companies, everything understandably goes through the founder, and at a certain point, when you get to a certain size, employees need to feel kind of more ownership and more of an ability to take things on their own. And one of the things we really worked on in the years heading up to COVID was, making sure that our employees felt like they were not just executing a strategy, but actually contributing to it, and that their voices were heard in terms of what we should and shouldn't be doing. So we did a lot of that work in the years heading up to COVID. And I would say, one of our biggest successes was that our team and our employees worked together in very difficult environment to get us through that. And I think, a good deal of that was because of some of those initiatives that we did sort of leading up to COVID that really, led everybody, even more than they would have otherwise, to roll their sleeves up and get the company through what was, like I said, a very challenging and ever-changing time.
Absolutely. So I love saying buy well and once. So how does it pertain to Natori's ethos of reducing overconsumption?
Absolutely. So I think, one of the things that has helped us succeed and has helped us in terms of, our relationship with the customer and our customer loyalty is the fact that we have our own family-owned factory. So, I told you we're celebrating our 48th anniversary as a family-owned business. My mother was born and raised in the Philippines, and really essentially from the beginning, we have had our own manufacturing facility in the Philippines where we do, the majority of our in-house collections. So that's led us to sort of have a different relationship because, so many of our competitors use the same third-party factories. All over the world. And the fact that we own our own facility, it helps us be vigilant about the quality control coming out of it, what we use, the team, all of that. And I think you'll see that, our product just feels different. And so I think in the quality, we get so many people writing into our website, people writing in and saying, oh God, I still have, this pajama set from the 1990s and it's still, I love it. We sell a lot on TV, and so we're friends on Instagram with all of the TV hosts. And when they're posting stuff from home, I see them in their Natori pajamas and robes from when we started our TV business, which was 8, 10 years ago. And they're like, oh yeah, they'll say stuff on there like it's still great. Obviously, we want people to buy more, and we're a fashion company, so we think buying and refreshing is important. But we are so proud that our products in our consumers' minds. It is about high quality construction and things that you buy and can keep for a very long time.
Absolutely. I remember when I moved to United States from former Soviet Union in 1989. My first memory of gorgeous sleepwear was Natori collection at Saks Fifth Avenue. These gorgeous embroidered kimonos and nightgowns in silk, and it was the most inspiring collection. Every time I wanted to see something beautiful, I went to Saks and to see and to touch.
Thank
Yes,
you.
the Natori garments. So the concept of sustainability and running sustainable practices has been around for at least 10 years. Do you feel like your customers make their buying decisions based on buying sustainable products?
I mean, I think our customers make decisions on a lot of different things. And obviously, if choosing between sustainable and unsustainable, customers will choose sustainable. We all care about the earth immensely, and that is incredibly important. Do I think they make decisions only on sustainability? No, I don't. But certainly, sustainability has been very important to us. And every year for us and for our partners, we make progress, we make progress, we make progress in terms of whether it's our bras using sustainable materials, eventually evolving into fully, 100% sustainable. Like I said, the fact that we own our own factory makes a tremendous difference in terms of, us controlling the sustainability over that, owning our supply chain in our company-owned collections from A to Z. That's very rare, and a lot of companies don't have that as well. So it is something that is here and that will continue, and something that is very important to us and really should be important to everyone as well. And we do, at first we just did it and didn't really talk about it as much. And then now it's very clear, customers care about that. They want to know what's going on with the products they're making in so many different ways, not just in terms of sustainability, but who's the company behind it? What else do those people represent, and what do they stand for? And so I think a lot of what we've seen evolve over the last years, it's not just about doing stuff, but it's also giving customers the information they need, because people don't just want to buy product these days. They want to know what is behind the product and who the people are behind the product. So I think part of our mission as well has been to communicate all that in addition to just doing it.
Absolutely. Have you observed changes in consumer behavior over the last 5 years? And how do you think these trends will evolve in the future?
Certainly. There were tremendous changes 6 to 10 years ago, and then everything just accelerated even more through COVID. So obviously, the move away from in-store to more, not completely away from in-store, but the ability for customers to have successful shopping experiences online without going into store, that has been the biggest change. We have every year expected that to increase and increase. And it's accelerated, especially during COVID, even more than we ever expected. So the customer's ability to succeed and have good shopping experiences without ever stepping foot in store, that's the biggest thing. And the expectations just get stronger and stronger on that every year, and we certainly expect that to continue. The other thing that we've seen, that everybody's seen, is really less loyalty to brands. There's so many brands out there competing for limited customer attention, and all these new brands pop up out of nowhere. Not just the companies popping up, but ads popping up. There's just an ever increasing ability for customers to try new things more easily, and so that, as all brands, need loyalty. And we've been able to maintain that, but it does become more and more difficult as it is easier for companies or for customers to change and move around. So we certainly expect that to continue as well. And really, at the end of the day, the customer always speaks. The customer these days can speak more quickly, and your competitors can react more quickly everybody can react more quickly than they could in the past. So it's even more important for brands like us to be constantly listening to that customer and to evolve quickly and to make sure you're responding to what your customer is saying, because it is easier than ever for customers to move away if they have a bad experience or if they see something shinier or brighter.
Absolutely. So why do you feel our customers stay with Natori? Because I'm sure you have a tremendous loyal following.
Yeah, we have we've stayed true to what we've done really throughout the last 48 years. There's incredible care in terms of quality of product and really making sure that everything that we put out lives up to a certain standard. And I think our customers that have been with us for a very long time know that standard. And sometimes if they try something else, they can see that there is a difference in terms of what we do versus what some new startup does, or what something they see on Instagram does. It just tends to be different. And like I said, the other thing that we've really tried to do is to be more thoughtful about telling that story more, because that is what the customer wants to hear. We know that customers want to know more about the people behind the products that they're buying. And so whether it's through social media or other efforts, we've really been, more diligent and more thoughtful in terms of making sure that we're telling that story. We launched live streaming from our website, Natori.com, a couple of years ago. And the idea was, instead of seeing something on social media, which is a post or maybe a recorded video, live streaming gave people a live ability to say, oh, wow, here's Josie Natori talking about this. Here's Ken Natori talking about this. And it gives the customer the ability to see that live and to buy the product directly as we're talking about it, or to even ask questions and to chat, to say, hey, thank you for doing this. And so things like that, where we've been more given our customers more of an ability to get to know not just us, but also our employees and, all of our processes. I think that's been helpful in terms of hopefully having our customers feel a stronger connection to, our company besides just buying our products.
Absolutely. Transparency, I think, increases trust for brands immensely. That's fantastic. So what do you perceive as greatest challenge for your business today in the years ahead?
We talked about how strong our e-commerce business has been and how much it's grown since we launched it as Natori.com as an e-commerce site in 2008. What is to some degree part and parcel with that is the challenges, some challenges at least in our wholesale channel, particularly in the high-end wholesale channel. It's a fact. Customers aren't spending as much time in stores as they used to. And we knew that was coming, and the stores knew that was coming, but it has probably gone even faster than anyone expected. And while there are winners, in large part, some stores have struggled with addressing that or figuring out how to, how to operate in this different environment. So there has been softness, no surprise, throughout, a lot of wholesale channels. Some have succeeded, some have quite publicly had struggles. And so, really, but, wholesale will always be an incredibly important part of our business. There's no question about that. But we need the stores to be healthier and to figure out a way to be healthier in a way that they can operate, but then also treat the brands fairly, because that's not always happening across the board as well. So we're incredibly confident about the prospects of, our website and, online commerce in general. But we really collectively, not just finger pointing at the stores, we all need to figure out a way to better operate given a decrease in foot traffic at the retail level. And there's a lot of room improvement in that, and that everybody's gonna need.
Wonderful. Natori currently has licenses in many categories, including bedding, towels, legwear, rugs, fine jewelry, healthwear, and even dog apparel. It's in addition to many categories that you run in-house. So what are your criteria for selecting business partners?
Yeah, so our mission really has been to create an East meets West lifestyle brand across all categories. So we have done a lot of that in-house, but when there are categories that we haven't really been able to do or don't, would feel better working with a company that knows what they're doing within that category, we have used licensees to expand into those businesses. And certainly there are a lot more. We're just signing another license now, which I can't reveal quite yet, but we'll be moving into new categories over the courses of the coming years as well. So I think the most important thing isn't, some people might hear this and say, oh, the most important thing must be the category. Like, Natori really wants to get into handbags, so they're going to find a handbag partner. That to some degree is true. But I think for us, especially being a family business, the most important thing is finding owners and partners that share our values and share our view on the proper trajectory of the brand. Without that, even if we find a partner that is in a category we really want to be in, but we don't have a great trust of the owners, or we think that they might do something, that could hurt the brand, we don't really care that they're in a great category, because to us, the brand at the end of the day and the values is the most important thing. So we really look at partner first. So there are a number of categories that we didn't think, we might not have thought, or you might not think, like we did initially get into. But oftentimes we've been approached by partners or referred by people we trust to say, hey, these are good people. They share your vision of the brand, and they want to work with you in category X. Category X may not have been top of mind for us or our top priority, but if we find people that share our values and belief in the brand, really anything could work. And so I think that's been interesting to us. I think really surrounding ourselves with partners who we value and we share the same values with at the end of the day is the most important thing. And from there, we think the rest will sort of take care of itself.
Absolutely. So Natori is celebrated for its blend of Eastern and Western influences. How does the brand balance cultural heritage with modern relevance?
Right. So I think both can live together, right? So, everything we do is East meets West. One of the things that we love is that people can see a Natori print from across the mall, and it could be on anything. And we want them to be able to say, oh, that's a Natori print, even though I might not have seen it on this product category before. And that, I feel like, is true, right? So we have, I think, been true in terms of our aesthetics, so that people know when they see something Natori, they know what it is. We push ourselves internally to modernize as well. There are things that, people have been shopping for the last 20, 25 years. And that's important. We'll always obviously want to cater to that customer, but we also have to bring in that new customer as well. So we have made, whether it's through different collections, whether it's through tweaking existing collections, tweaks here and there to continue to modernize, to attract that younger and more modern customer, while still servicing, our tried and true loyal customers that have been with us forever. It really is, it's a healthy balance, and something that we do not just through the design process, but also through our distribution and our communication processes as well.
Oh, wonderful. So in 2 years, the company will be celebrating its 50th anniversary. It's even hard to imagine. To do that within the life of one person, it's a tremendous achievement. Are there any special initiatives, collections, or celebrations being planned to mark this milestone?
I can say with quite certainty, all of those things will happen. We have not, we think about it a lot, but we haven't exactly quite planned specifics yet. So there will certainly be a big celebration. There will certainly be unique collaborations, new collections, possibly even new product categories. The business can be very challenging. And so we have done a lot to celebrate. I've been at the company for our 30th, 35th, 40th, 45th, and then soon to be our 50th. So there will be lots of exciting stuff, lots of celebrations. But have we started planning exactly what those are going to be? Not quite yet, but stay tuned.
I see. Well, I'll be thrilled to interview Mrs. Natori for that amazing milestone. And thank you so much for this fantastic interview. I wish all the luck and success to you, your mother, entire company. And thanks again for taking time to speak with me today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you find this content useful, please like the video, comment. I would like to hear from you. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos from the Intimate Talk series. I'm Asi Efros. Thank you so much for watching.